After a detailed analysis of divergence theorem, now we will discuss Green's theorem. You know, actually there are two Green's theorem. First one is known as Green's theorem in a plane, and the second one is called Green's theorem in a space. In this lecture, we will see what is Green's theorem in a plane. First of all, we will state this theorem, and after that we will see the proof of this theorem. But before knowing what is this Green's theorem in a plane, I would like to share with you that what is the aim of this Green's theorem in a plane. Actually, the prime aim of this theorem is to transform a line integral into double integral. You have seen the divergence theorem aims to transform the normal surface integral into volume integral. In fact, any integral theorem has a particular aim, and this Green's theorem in a plane is used to transform a line integral into a double integral. So this is the basic purpose of this Green's theorem in a plane. Now see, what is this Green's theorem? For your convenience, I have already mentioned here the statement, but we will clarify what is this what this statement actually says. As you can see, the statement of Green's theorem is like this: if R is a closed region in the xy plane, remember, in xy plane there is a closed region, and the name of that region I have taken here R. And this closed region R is bounded by a simple closed curve C. And there are two continuous functions m and n, which are actually the function of x and y. And these two continuous functions m and n have actually continuous derivative of first order in the region R. So if all these conditions will be satisfied, then you can see the line integral along the closed curve C, which encloses the region R, of this function m dx plus n dy is equal to double integral over the region R del n by del x minus del m by del y dx dy. In fact, this closed curve C here is traversed in the positive sense, or you can say the anti-clockwise direction or counterclockwise direction. So you can see I have marked the arrow sign here, which represents actually the counterclockwise rotation on this sign of integral along the curve C. So this is the statement. It means whenever there will be a region in xy plane and a simple closed curve C will enclose that region, and in that region we define the two functions m and n, which are actually function of x and y, and these functions have continuous derivative in that region, then this equation will be satisfied. This is actually the mathematical form of Green's theorem in a plane. Now, after knowing this statement, first of all we will prove it, and after that in second lecture we will see the important numerical problems based on this Green's theorem. In fact, after solving those problems you will find the actual concept of this theorem, when it will be applied and how it will be applied to solve the problem. So to see the proof of this theorem, let us see this figure, which I have actually drawn here. You should see it. In fact, you can see this C is a closed curve, as you can see, and this arrowhead indicates that we are traversing along this closed curve in anti-clockwise sense. And this closed curve lies in xy plane, as you can see in this figure, and the region enclosed by this simple closed curve C is R, which I have marked here by this shaded region. And as you can see, I have actually divided this closed curve into two parts. first one, as you can see, is AEB, and the second part is BFA, or you can say AFB. So this simple closed curve may be supposed to be made up of two curves. First one is AEB, as you can see the figure, and the second one is AFB. You can see when we will move from point A to point B, then actually the x coordinate increases linearly from A to B. You can see here, corresponding to point A, the x coordinate is a small a marked here, and corresponding to point B, the x coordinate is this small b. But as you will move along this curve AEB, the y coordinate changes, and the change in y coordinate depends on the value of x, or you can say the value of y at different points on this curve AEB depends on the value of x for that point. So you can write that the equation of the curve AEB, see here, equation of the curve AEB, you can write this is y equal to f of x, a function of x, but that function I have marked here by capital Y1. So y equal to capital Y1 of x, this represents the equation of the curve AEB. And similarly, this curve, see here, the curve AFB, when you move from this point A to B, again you can see x varies from A to B, but y depends on x. So equation of this curve AFB, you can write y equal to a function of x, and that function I have marked here by y2. So finally you can say that y equal to y1 of x, this is equation of the curve AEB, and y equal to y2 of x, this is equation of the curve AFB, and AEB and AFB when get combined, then you get the closed curve C. Now see the statement. In fact, in a statement you can see this line integral of m dx plus n dy along the closed curve C in counterclockwise direction is equal to this much. So to prove this theorem, we will start to find the double integral of these functions, that is del n by del x and del m by del y. So let us try to evaluate the integral in RHS step by step. So now you can see, now integral over R del m by del y dx dy. We will try to evaluate this integral. As you can see, this is actually the second term in RHS, and we are going to evaluate this integral. In fact, this integral may be written like this. This is x equal to a to x equal to b, and del m by integral y equal to y1 to y2, y1 as a function of x and y2 also as a function of x, del m by del y dy, and finally we will write dx. This is just a simple integral, you can easily evaluate it. You can see here, this is x equal to a to b, and see, integral of del m by del y dy, what will be it? This will be simply m of xy. integral will be simply m, and m is a function of x and y, as I have told you earlier. And what are the limits? Limits are capital Y1 and capital Y2 and dx. You can see. Now let us put the limit first of all. So you can see this is integral from a to b, and first of all we will put actually the upper limit, and these are actually the limits of variable y. So this will be m of x y2 minus m of x y1 dx. Now we will break this integral in two parts, as you can see here. This can be written as, first of all write this second term. So this can be written as minus integral a to b m of x comma y1 dx, and first term is positive, but if you will interchange the limits, that is the lower limit will be made upper limit and upper limit will be made lower limit, then sign will be changed. So you can write this minus integral of x comma y2 dx, and limits will be now b to a. Now you can see actually the sum of these two integrals, you can take actually the minus sign here as a common factor. So this can be written as integral a to b m of x comma capital Y1 dx plus integral b to a m of x comma y2 dx. But see, actually this integral m of x comma y1 along from a to b, and integral of m of x comma y2 b to a, the sum of these two integrals you can write simply the sum of m dx along the closed curve C, because this is simply the sum of the integral along AEB and BFA, not AFB, because you have taken the minus sign. So this can be written as minus integral in anti-clockwise sense along the closed curve C m dx. You can write it. So from here you can see, if you write the integral of m dx along the closed curve C, that will be simply minus of this much. So write it here. Therefore you can write integral along C in anti-clockwise sense of m dx. What will be this? This will be minus integral over r del m by del y dx dy. You can see here this minus sign has been put before the term in LHS, which we can do actually, and say this is equation 1. Now in the similar manner you can evaluate the integral of del n by del x over the region R. But you can write the same result directly on the basis of this result, but I would like to again evaluate that integral, and for that you can see we will actually suppose here that this closed curve C is made up of EAF. See now we will consider that this closed curve is made up of EAF and EBF. These two closed curve when will combine, then we will get actually the closed curve C. So now you can see when you will move along this curve from E to F, then actually the y coordinate varies from E to F, which is fixed. But the x coordinate will vary continuously, and you can't predict that what will be actually the value of x coordinate in this case. So the equation of this part of the curve EAF can be written as x as a function of y. And similarly, when you move from E to F via B, in fact again this y coordinate will change from E to F, but x will change continuously. So these two parts of the curve, see the figure EAF and EBF, these two curves can be represented by equation x equal to a function of y, just opposite of the previous case. So now you can see, let the equations of the curves. First curve is EAF. See the figure. Equation of the curves EAF and EBF. You can see the figure. B x equal to a function of y, and here we will write the function by the symbol capital X1 of y, and equation of this curve EBF will be written as x equal to a function x2 of y. So x equal to x1 of y, this is equation of the curve EAF, and x equal to x2 of y, this is equation of the curve EBF. Now you can evaluate the first integral in RHS of this equation, which is actually the statement of our Green's theorem in a plane. So you can evaluate this integral on the same line. So see here. Therefore, if you want to calculate the integral over R del n by del x dx dy. So see here, this will be integral. Here y coordinates are fixed, it varies from E to F as you have seen in the figure. I am again showing you that fact in this figure. Corresponding to this point E, you can see the y coordinate is E, small e, and corresponding to this point F, you can see the y coordinate is small f. So limits for the variable y will be E and F, and you can now write this integral from x1 to x2. These are actually the values of x coordinate. This is the lower value, or this is the upper value of x coordinate, and this is del n by del x dx and dy. Now see, this can be written as integral E to F, and what will be this integral? You can easily say this integral will be simply n of xy, and the limits are capital X1 and capital X2. Remember, these are limits for the variable x, not for y, and dy. Now substitute the limit. This is integral from E to F and this will be n of x2 comma y minus n of x1 comma y dy. And as you can see, this integral may be written as in this manner. Here there is actually minus sign. So if you will interchange the limits, that is, you will make f as lower limit and e as upper limit, then this minus sign will become plus. So see this equation, because I will write in another page it directly, so you can see. Therefore, integral over r del n by del x dx dy, and this will be equal to integral from f to a. Instead of e to f, now I am writing f to a. So this second term will now become plus. So this will be n of x1 comma y dy, and plus not a but e, this is e, and this is e to f n of x2 comma y dy. But see now, when you take actually the limits from f to e, it means you are moving from f to e along this a in anti-clockwise sense, you can see. And when you move from e to f along this curve, it means you are moving from e to f via b in anti-clockwise sense. So you can see when we will traverse this curve from f to a and a to e, then e to b, and then b to f, it means you are traversing this closed curve once round, but in anti-clockwise sense. So actually the sum of these two integrals may be simply written as integral along the closed curve C in anti-clockwise sense n dy. We can write it. And so you can say the integral along the closed curve C n dy, this is equal to integral over r del n by del x dx dy, and say this is equation 2. Now we have already evaluated the integral of n dy along closed curve C and integral of m dx in this equation 1 along the closed curve C. So now you will simply add these two equations and you will see that our Green's theorem will be obtained. So adding 1 and 2, you can see, adding 1 and 2, we get, you can see. In fact, I am writing the terms in RHS first of all. So this will be integral along C m dx plus n dy. See the equation 1 and 2. And that will be equal to what? Integral over r, and you can see this will be del n by del x minus del m by del y dx dy. and actually this is nothing, this is simply the Green's theorem in a plane as you have seen in the statement. So in this way we can easily prove this Green's theorem in a plane. In fact, in university examination, whenever this question will be asked, you have to state the Green's theorem and also to prove it. But in competitive examination, generally the proof of the theorem is not asked, but numerical problems based on this theorem will be asked, particularly in competitive examination. It does not mean that in university examination numerical problems are not asked, but in university examination the proof of theorem is also asked. Now after knowing the proof of this Green's theorem in a plane, we are going to see a very important corollary based on this theorem. So see this corollary. Actually this corollary will be very useful in solving the numerical problems. So what is this corollary? First of all, I am writing it and then we will actually prove it. So this corollary says, so that I am writing it just in question form for your convenience, so that area A bounded by a simple closed curve C, simple closed curve C is A equal to 1/2 integral along the closed curve C x dy minus y dx. So what this corollary says, if you consider in xy plane a closed curve C, let us see this figure, and the area bounded by this closed curve is equal to A, then the area of this the region bounded by the closed curve C can be expressed like this. So here you can see there is no restriction on the shape and size of the curve. This closed curve may be a rectangle, it may be a square, it may be a circle, it may be an ellipse. So this is just a general result for the area of a region in xy plane bounded by a closed curve. So this is very useful. You can use this result, this formula, to obtain the area of any particular geometry in a plane. But here we will see first of all the proof of this corollary, and after that in next lecture when we will see the numerical problems, then we will also see some of the problems based on this concept. So see first of all the proof of this corollary. How we can prove this? In fact, just you have seen the Green's theorem in a plane, and if you will see seriously this integral in RHS, this is just like integral along C m dx plus n dy. So comparing with the Green's theorem, we can prove this result easily. So for that, let us consider, here in fact m dx plus n dy. So in fact here at the place of m there is minus y, you can see here. So let m equal to minus y and n equal to x. You can compare, because in Green's theorem we see that the term is m dx plus n dy. So when you will compare it with this Green's theorem, then at the place of m there is minus y and at the place of n there is x. So I have supposed that m is equal to minus y and n equal to x. So if m is equal to minus y, you can easily say what will be del m by del y. That will be simply minus 1. And if n is equal to x, you can say del n by del x, this will be equal to 1. This will be 1. So now apply the Green's theorem. You can say by Green's theorem in a plane. Green's theorem in plane. You know, Green's theorem in a plane is what? This is integral along C. Now I am not writing this arrowhead. You may write this arrowhead or you may not write this arrowhead. Just you can see in this expression I have not marked that arrowhead. It is not necessary. M dx plus n dy. And you have just seen the Green's theorem says that this line integral is equal to the double integral over the region R del n by del x minus del m by del y dx dy. But according to our supposition, this m is equal to here minus y and n is equal to x, and these partial derivatives you can see del m by del y is minus 1 and del n by del x is plus 1. So use these you can use these things in this equation. So you can say this is integral along C m dx, but m is minus y, so this is minus y dx plus n dy, but n is x, so plus x dy, and this equal to integral over the region R del n by del x. See here, del n by del x is what? This is 1. And minus del m by del y. But del m by del y, you can see here, this is minus 1. That minus and this minus will become plus. So this is plus 1 dx dy. And 2 is now a constant, so we will take it outside of the integral. And inside the integral there will be dx dy. But you can see, if you consider a small element in this region whose length is dx and breadth is dy, so actually this dx dy represents the elementary area of this region in xy plane enclosed by the closed curve C. So instead of this dx dy, you may write dA, where dA is actually the elementary area. You can see here, this is dx into dy. So when we will actually integrate this elementary area over this region R, then you will get the total area. And so you can see here, this integral will be equal to A. Therefore we can say, I am writing that term in RHS in LHS now, so you can see this will be 2A, and that 2A will be equal to what? See that term in LHS. So you can write this is equal to integral along C, see the equation, x dy minus y dx, x dy minus y dx. And so you can write the area enclosed by the closed curve C in xy plane. This will be equal to 1 over t integral along C x dy minus y dx. And this is the result which we have to prove. So you can see how easily we can prove this result by the use of Green's theorem in a plane. And actually, as I have told you, this is just a general result to find the area enclosed by any closed curve in xy plane. So definitely you should remember it to solve the numerical problem. So as I have told you earlier that in this lecture I have proved actually the Green's theorem in a plane, and we have also seen a simple corollary of it, which is very useful. And in next lecture we will see the problems based on this concept.